Why do you move forwards? Why do we as people collectively choose to keep living every day? Even when life gets hard, even when we stop feeling happy, we keep going. We can lose it all and still move onwards to a new day. Of course, there's exceptions to this, and some people do sadly choose not to move forwards, but the majority of people do. Why? Everyone has their separate reasons, but despite this, the manhwa The Horizon seeks to answer this question in a way that everyone can feel suits them. And the way they seek out to do this is with the help of this boy. He is simply referred to as the boy the entire story. In fact, not a single name is given to any of the characters in it. They're all here to play a simple role and they barely have any personality to speak of. This story starts with a tragedy. The first panels feature the boy's mom sheltering him while crying. Danger's coming and she knows she can't save herself. The boy hides, hearing the screams of the people and the shots being fired from the guns. He comes out after his surroundings finally quiet to find a massacre. Somewhere near 100 people are laying on the ground, dead. But the boy ignores all of this, clearly already used to such horrid sights. He looks around all the corpses to try to find his mom, and when he eventually does, he finds a sight so grim the author even censored it. She's been shot in the head, and her brains are splattered all over the ground. The boy stares, horrified at the corpse of his mom, and then tries to push the brains back inside of her head, even running to get more from another corpse. But his efforts are futile, as his mom is already long gone, and with that comes what can only be seen as the end of his world. As the boy looks up, what he sees is only more misery, as he is standing in a pile of hundreds, maybe even thousands of dead bodies. It seems it's not only the end of his world, but the end of our world as we know it. But even in the end of the world, his life continues like it always has, and he moves forwards. Why? The boy doesn't have anyone or anything to keep him going, and yet he keeps living. Despite losing everything, he keeps going forwards. Human nature is quite interesting. Even if we ourselves feel like we want to die, there's a deep instinct within us that tries to stop us, that tries to keep us alive no matter what. You can reach the point where you don't have anything left to live for, and no will to keep going either, and yet you still will. You may try to kill yourself, but it will never be an easy thing for you to do. No matter how terrible your life becomes, ending your life will never truly be the easy way out. Our instinct will always try its very best to protect us from any and every threat that we come across, even if that threat happens to be ourselves. As the boy keeps going, he eventually reaches a nice bus, which he decides is a good spot to sleep. But even in his sleep, he's haunted by the terrible events that have consumed his life. One day he wakes to find a girl. They just stare at each other, both acknowledging that they must have lived similar lives. And before either of them can break the silence, a bomb does it for them. In a flash, the seemingly peaceful area is turned into a war zone, and the boy grabs the girl and tries to run away, but upon seeing the people fighting, he thinks to himself, if this is how our life will be, then maybe it'll be better to just... Before he can even finish his thought, his attention is turned to the girl who is now crying. He now has someone to fight for. He ran away, not even understanding why himself. Why do people feel the need to survive? Just like I did earlier this video, the boy is now wondering why we have this instinctual need to live. But he's not asking this question purely out of interest like I did. Even though this is just text on a page, the manga makes it clear as day that his tone is one that is cursing this instinct. He wishes he could just stand there awaiting the inevitable, because what awaits him in his future on Earth doesn't seem very promising. But alas, his instinct to survive, and maybe even more so, his instinct to protect keeps him going.
Hi!
And just like that, the girl and the boy's journey starts. A journey where their only plan is simply to move forwards for as long as they can. This journey can only be described as fucking horrible, as the girl almost gets raped, they commit murder, they get kidnapped, they may even have been tricked into eating human flesh. And then all this pain and suffering they go through reaches its worst after they reach the end of the road. They've walked along the same road the entire story, and now they finally reach the end. But they must continue forwards. They go past the end of the road and enter a forest, and within they meet a girl and a boy, seemingly their age, going through the same thing they're going through. Guns are immediately pulled by both parties. Why is the world this way? Both the kids are shaking. None of them wanted to go this way, but their resolve is still unwavering. In this world, it's kill or be killed. That's the lesson life has taught them. Drop your gun! That's what our main character screams. Meanwhile, the other boy splurts out pure gibberish, but we can safely assume he's saying the same thing. But both of them get stopped. The girl next to them stops each of the respective boys from doing anything hasty. Both the kids are perfectly in sync, confirming that they've lived very similar lives. It's like looking at a slightly distorted mirror image. The boy thinks to himself, maybe they're still left standing is only our boy, and then the mirror girl. He looks over to find that the girl, the only person he had left, is laying dead on the ground. He looks back over to the mirror girl and watches as she... Not only he is left, all alone, yet again. He picks up his gun, planning to follow in the footsteps of the mirror girl, but he can't. He only knows how to move forwards. The entire story, this boy has kept moving forwards, never looking back, ignoring all the bad things that have happened to him. But now, finally, he reaches a stopping point. Waves block his way. There's no more moving forwards. There's no more running away. The boy is forced to face everything he's been running from his entire story. And he weeps and weeps. He thinks back on all the moments of his past, both the good ones and the bad ones, and he just weeps. All the darkness he's been running from finally catches up to him, and it consumes him. He tries to start walking again, but it's too late. He's already lost to the darkness. But he doesn't die. He gets saved by what seems to be the military. Dying's easy until it's what you want to happen. It's like the universe is laughing at your suffering, which only serves to make it worse. An old man walks along the same beach we just saw our boy collapse on. His eyes are the ones of a dead man. A man who has lost it all. They're the eyes of our boy. He's drifting through life, day by day, doing nothing more than surviving. And yet again, you really have to ask why. This story shows you the life of a boy who loses it all over and over again. A boy who spends most of his life with absolutely nothing to live for. And yet he keeps living. This story wants you to question why he's still alive. Why he chooses to live on every day. Why he moves forwards. And by extension, it makes you question why we move forwards. The old man comes across a couple living in a tent in the woods, and they quickly become friends. The boy has yet again found hope, but as it always has, it's quickly taken away from him as the husband gets consumed by a large wave and pulled into the depths of the sea. The old man hears the screams of the wife and runs out and immediately realizes what has happened. His face has an expression that says, "Typical, huh?" He's used to it by now. No, he isn't. This isn't anything you get used to. You will never get used to tragedy. The old man thinks back to a conversation he had with the couple. He talks about his worldview and how he sees the world as cruel and meaningless. And the couple can only agree. But they're happy. Even in a world full of pain, hatred, and sorrow, they are happy. We have faith in the love we share. The boy decides it's his turn to believe in love. He runs full speed into the sea and dives as deep as he can, looking for the husband, and he spots him. He makes his way to him and grabs him. Now he just has to make it back. But how? It's in the middle of the night. Everything is pitch black. He lets his faith waver, but he picks it back up. we must believe in love. They make it up, and on the surface, they're greeted by a beautiful sunrise. He made it above the horizon. Like a wave, everything in life comes and goes. People, happiness, and even sadness. To answer the question why we move forwards, I actually don't really know the answer. And I think it's honestly something each person has to find for themselves. But what I can tell you is why I move forwards. Even when life is at its worst and I'm feeling like complete shit, I know that I just have to believe in the love I share with those around me and the love that they give me back. I have to believe in the happy memories I have made in the past and the ones I have yet to make in the future. I have to trust that there will come better days at the end of the tunnel. I move forwards because there's no other option. I move forwards because deep down I know it will always be the right choice. I move forwards because I know there will be light above the horizon.